Good morning, good evening. We are back at Radio Lubrino Live, our live video for our social media. Usually we have a different meetings with encounters. And today we talk about LUISS University, one Italian university, but very global, very international. We discuss about different topics related to LUISS University in the last year. And this season we discuss some specific project activities, very interesting for us, especially for Italian expats or people living abroad interested in Italian culture, because they are very interesting activities now running at the LUISS University. Specifically today we talk about the Diaspora program with the professor Francesco Mazzù, is the head of international orientation and professor for marketing at the LUISS University. Good morning, Professor Mazzù.
So, good morning. Thanks for inviting us for this session. It's our second year, so it's really a pleasure to stay together again.
No, I discussed before, because LUISS University is still interesting for us because it's become so international in the last few decades. And for us, as Italian expats, we have a lot of relationship with professionals local here in Ireland. This is very interesting stakeholders for us because match our mission and values, etc. But for the just few people don't know yet what is LUISS University. Could you introduce very briefly what is LUISS?
Yes, sure. LUISS is an independent university that evolved out of some earlier Roman institution, and basically throughout its 4 departments of economics and finance, business and management, law and political science offers an innovative and sophisticated educational approach. LUISS is also characterized more and more in the last years through its trajectory of internationalization and opening up to new trajectories of learning as well. In terms of internationalization, now the majority of courses at LUISS are taught in English. And basically there is a mix of typical courses and innovative courses. And we observed in the last period a really relevant increase in the ranking, in the global ranking. And now LUISS is in the top position on all its departments from a worldwide perspective. From the perspective of international students, the number of international students is growing double-digit since the last 6 years. So we observed in the last year, for example, a strong increase of students from all the geographies, also the far distant one, like Africa, for example, with an increase of 233%, for Asia, with an increase of 213%, and South America, with an increase of 33%. On top of that, of course, the European students are growing more and more. We offer not only typical bachelor or Master of Science or Master of Arts programs, but also summer programs where you can have a feeling and the taste of what the university is and its programs and the experience of Rome as well.
One effect of this global approach to education is the Diaspora program. I'm going to talk now. It's a very interesting program to share and meet different knowledge, culture, background, etc. Could you tell me how and why the Diaspora program started?
So this Diaspora program was first launched in January 2021. This was coming after a phase of concept development and context analysis, but also in response to the needs of a university and its associated community, in the end, to be able to count on the constant growth and exchange of opportunities fostered by a multi-ethnic context. So from the very beginning, we saw the university as a meeting place and a forum for growth, with diasporas as protagonists, with skills and sensitivities to be valued, and through which one you could promote, for example, in this case of diaspora, Africa, in the world, in the academic world, offering in name of inclusiveness and sustainability. Themes and commitment those themes and this commitment is really at the heart of the vision of our university. The key point is that the future, in our view, in our strategic plan view, will be fueled by changes produced by the intersection of knowledge, cultures, learning, responsibilities, and passions. And within such framework, the university is really the place to experiment with change and discontinuity in order to build a responsible future with values of responsibility, inclusiveness, sustainability, and at its core a strong sense, really a strong sense of community. The idea then, through the activity of the Diaspora program, is to value communities of foreign origin by helping to give them visibility. At the same time, association, networks, and representative diasporas are becoming a real vehicle of promotion and awareness of LUIS and its academic offering worldwide. So the project goes behind traditional recruitment objectives and reach a different horizon, the horizon of circular student migration. It is to ensure that the skills acquired in the multicultural environment at LUIS University make students global actors. So in the end, capable of reapplying the new knowledge that they acquire here in their countries of origin, becoming then, in the end, hopefully, decision and policymakers and promoters of development. So I think this is a synthesis of why we embarked in the Diaspora program.
Interesting was organized by university because I think it's a good place to discuss about this topic. But what is the educational mission of LUIS? And why you're so interested at the moment? You said now, but what is exactly the mission and how match the mission with the specific project?
Yeah, there is a strong attention to the education of the younger generation, and that's really at the heart of our mission. So we believe that there are some essential elements on which each student's education should revolve around. Basically, number one is the critical thinking that is functional to the application of scientific methodology to analyze and solve problems. Number one. Number two, curiosity and open-mindedness, from the ability to ask questions, to formulate questions, to discovery of new potential questions, which might be relevant in an ever-evolving context. And then there is the centrality of the person and its individual skills in the learning phase, educated to be independent thinker in exploring in great depth the stimuli introduced by the teachers. So we need, in the end, a generation that is ready to shortly take over the reins of our future with the right approach. A generation that knows how to deal with the roots of problems that are unexpected, changing, and unforeseen, and that knows how to apply the approach to various fields, covering institutional, economic, and social issues, working on preventing or solving, for example, also the prevention and injustice. So I think the educational mission is quite large. Okay, that's how we would like to connotate it.
That's very interesting because absolutely is an important subject for this kind of topic. But I was reading the program. I was very interested to see the topics because actually very actual and very real topic involve different aspects part of the society. But I saw a lot of partners, organization or government organization, non-government organization, a lot of subjects involved in this project. I'd like to ask you, who are the partners involved, how the collaboration among the various stakeholders develop?
Yeah. So that's basically, it's a quite important topic for us. So we have a commitment to bring in the real world of work closer to young people who can then come to study at LUIS University. And right from the beginning, we have undertaken a series of elements for these diaspora programs. The first one was subject-specific webinars in 3 languages with micro room for business to business or dedicated Q&A for students on topics related to climate change, mobility, green revolution, transformation in models of production, ecological transition and development of new technologies, longevity economy, and global health. Then we have meetings with representatives of diasporas for the three international orientation focus areas, so Europe, then Turkey, Americas, Middle East, Africa, Central and South Asia, and Asia Pacific. So this was a real opportunity to introduce Lewis University for the first time to representatives of such communities. Then we basically make some presentation with African school and university. Again, an opportunity to learn about educational institutions that were not yet present in the Lewis network. This gave students the opportunity to consider studying in Italy, in Rome, at Lewis University. And indeed today, some of them, a lot of them, are real students. And then we started cooperation with the new Italian Generation National Steering Committee, established by the Ministry of Labor and Social Policy, to foster a new narrative and listen to the needs and points of view of second and third generation young people. In addition, we developed some closer contact with some embassies and diplomatic staff who have shown interest and supported the program from the very beginning. And finally, we participated in some local events thanks to the support of local diaspora representatives. In this way, the Diaspora Connection format was born, where representatives from the diasporas within the program take part in local events and publicize the path being pursued by Lewis University and the various opportunities that this offers. So it's quite a comprehensive plan that we are structuring in order to make sure that really it's a continuous exchange on two ways with those diaspora communities.
It's not the first year you are running this program, but this year it looks like more ambitious. You plan to move from webinars to applied research. What does that mean? How and which topics do you plan to cover?
Yeah, so the third edition officially kicked off on February 23rd. And this really expands on a key element that the university has and should have and should be known and valorized. And this is also a way to grow various stakeholders. And this element is research. So the new structuring the organization of the program in the form of research seminar as well as masterclass occurred in response to the need to address specific issues within a research framework. Also in keeping with Lewis inquiry approach, which characterize our learning model, it emphasized the need to build bridges of intellectual collaboration on cutting-edge topics, such as data governance, self-sustainability of cities in the context of climate change, digital innovation, environmental sustainability, branding, made in Italy and made in other countries and evolving customers, leadership and inclusion, and more generic themes of the Expo. So the main goal to be achieved through this new approach, which also includes and develop research topic and papers, is to use intellectual links to bridge the gaps and distances between academic communities. Sharing and exchanging research experience enable equal reflection on the various issues discussed and sometimes jointly finding solutions or alternatives to previous reasoning. In other words, it brings together researchers and teaching staff engaged in the same issue so they can continue the journey together. This confirms the university trajectory and stream within the program is set, which can basically on the focus on social mobility, opportunity creation, equal exchange of knowledge, and attention to sustainability. So from policy and business choices to process to environment. And after each seminar held during this third edition, the various contributions will take place in a physical form in some specific publication from a dedicated editor. So it's quite integral, basically, in this term.
Yeah, the Diaspora program has bring any discover from you, any create any project, any follow-up specifically. Maybe something was not planned, but you found some opportunities to explore running different webinars, different meetings, different discussion. Is any output created by the program?
Yeah, straight from the very first edition of the program, it became clear the lack of a center of analysis that monitors the flow of students, basically. Accordingly, we are about to set up the observatory on the African continent. Basically, it will be the first body of this kind in Italy dedicated to the reflection of this region. And basically, we'll also focalize on student migration and the so-called brain circulation, which is fundamental for the education of new generation of global citizens. So the prospect is for the constant integration and inclusion of students from different cultures and multiple nationalities. The observatory is a center for analysis and development of strategy for the promotion of international exchange and knowledge sharing, starting with circular migration programs for students, with a view to mutual enrichment between Italy and the 54 countries of Africa, and support for a sustainable cultural and social growth paths. So, through the observatory, work is done on a periodically and regular monitoring of student mobility flows to and from Africa countries, in connection with the academic offering of European university and the dynamic of growth and social evolution in the student's country of origin. So in the end, the analysis goes hand in hand with the development of strategy for the most efficient positioning in Europe of international student mobility. So the observatory has already been incorporated into the Center for International and Strategic Studies at Lewis University, and we are at the fundraising phase to start all the various working groups. Leading them will be experts in charge of monitoring the demand and supply of education for and from Africa, in connection with new trends in the labor market. The observatory activities are then a continuation of the Diaspora program, carried out together with the Cultural Association of Le Reseau, and really marked by the participation of representatives of the Italian African communities, which are rooted in Italy, but naturally projected into international space. So it's an ideal bridge to the social, economic, and cultural realities of sub-Saharan regions. So research topics to be explored are various, and this includes overview of student mobility from Africa and for Africa, as well as inter-African student mobility, analysis of African media representation of Italy, and specifically of Italian educational offering for Africa, including by way of comparison with other European offerings, evaluation of promotion for Africa to put forward by European and Italian universities and their visibility, also in relation to their impact in terms of enrollment and involvement of African students, but also, and probably finally, analysis of the contribution of the international development cooperation with respect to the mobility of African origin students. The observatory will be, the aspiration is to be an example of bringing Lewis University closer to the university development cooperation, but already monitoring several projects in this area in collaboration with non-governmental organization, association, foundation, and the Ministry and the Italian Agency for Development Cooperation.
Perfect. I mean, give an overview about the program. The interesting thing is open to everybody. We are in the middle of the webinar series. 2 webinars are already done. They are free. The webinars coming months. Could you, how people can participate in the webinar scheduled in the next couple months?
Yeah, they can basically write to our international orientation office, or we can basically share with you probably soon a link where they can signal their willingness to join the program itself.
So read below an email so you can register for the webinar.
Okay.
Perfect. Professor Mazzù, I'd like to thank you for your time. I think it was very interesting to discuss the topic. And as Radio Dublino, we are very happy to have a partner like Luis, because he's running this kind of project, very relevant and interesting for us. So I'd like to say we have the next few weeks, we have other meeting, interview with about Luis' university project with other people of my from Dublino. And of course, thanks again to Professor Mazzù, Head of International Orientation and Professor of Marketing at the Lewis University. You can find more details about the Diaspora program below this video, or on the www.dublino.com with more details and details of the program. Thanks again, and talk soon.
Grazie a voi. Thanks again, and a very nice continuation of the day.
Grazie, arrivederci.
Arrivederci.